Hey, you little mop girl. Pack your things and get the hell out of my company today, Ryan Whitmore ordered Maya. As he walked past the security desk, his face full of arrogance, he turned to the assistant hurrying beside him and said, "No meetings, no appeals, no paperwork. I want her handled before 9 o'clock this morning." Maya Williams went stiff, but she gathered every bit of courage she had and spoke. "I haven't received any notice from Human Resources." Ryan whirled around, strode back, and kicked her bucket. The plastic cracked as dirty water flooded across the lobby toward the security desk. Marcus Hill, the guard on duty, rose halfway from his chair. "Mr. Whitmore." Ryan snapped a hand toward him. "Sit down." Marcus froze. Ryan stepped close to Maya. Too close. The kind of close men used when they wanted a woman to remember the size of the space they controlled. His voice dropped, but the hatred inside it did not. "Are you deaf, or are you choosing not to listen? Starting today, I'm the king in this place." Ryan sneered, leaning in close with unfiltered disgust. "Look at yourself, Maya. Your skin color and that janitor uniform are a perfect match, born only to clean up trash under the feet of people like me. Don't go dreaming that a trashy online law degree will pull you out of this poverty hole. No one in this building my family built is going to stand up for you." For 7 years, Maya had quietly cleaned every invisible corner of this building to pay her mother's medical bills, mastering its systems while executives treated her like furniture. Ryan thought he owned the place, but he only owned the title. He pointed at her chest. "Take off the badge." Maya's fingers tightened around the mop handle. Ryan's assistant, a pale young man named Jason, cleared his throat. "Mr. Whitmore, maybe we should let HR." Ryan did not even look at him. "I said no paperwork conversation." Jason shut his mouth. Maya looked at Marcus. She saw anger in his face, but she also saw fear. Marcus was in his 50s. He had a mortgage, a daughter in nursing school, a life built around a paycheck that men like Ryan could destroy with a signature. Ryan followed her glance and smiled. "Oh, don't look at him," he said. "Security is under review too. By Friday, this whole place is going to look different. Custodial, maintenance, security, all of it. We are cleaning up the structure." Cleaning up. She knew exactly what that sugar-coated corporate code meant. He wanted a total racial purge, and the leaked operational modernization plan draft she found last week already proved it. Both her name and Marcus's were on that hit list. The week before, while emptying trash near the technical room, she had found a printed copy of Ryan's operational modernization plan sitting beside the printer. Phase 1 listed custodial, security, maintenance, and mailroom staff for replacement. Most of the names were black. Next to several of them were the words, "Legacy Diversity Hires." Marcus Hill was on that list. So was Maya Williams. Ryan thought she knew nothing. That was his mistake. "Badge," he repeated. Maya slowly unclipped it. Instead of placing it in his hand, she set it on the security desk in front of Marcus. Ryan's mouth tightened. "Still trying to make a point?" Maya said. "No. I'm making a record." For the first time, a flicker of caution crossed his face. It was gone almost instantly. He turned to Jason. "Shut off her access. Walk her to the basement. If she causes trouble, call the police and tell them she refused to leave private property." Maya looked down at the water spreading across the lobby floor. Ryan had kicked the bucket. Ryan had made the mess. But an older woman with a cane had just entered through the front doors, moving slowly toward the slick tile. Maya picked up the fallen bucket, took the mop, wiped the spill in one firm motion, and set the yellow caution sign where everyone could see it. Ryan laughed under his breath. "You're not on the clock anymore." Maya looked at him. Somebody could still fall. Then she turned and walked toward the service hallway. Marcus spoke as she passed. His voice was low. "Maya." She paused. "I'm sorry," he said. Maya looked at him, not with anger, but with warning. "Don't be sorry, Mr. Hill," she said. "Be ready." She pushed through the service door before Ryan could answer. The service hallway to the basement was empty, but Maya's mind was racing. Ryan hadn't just fired her. He had declared war. If he wanted a purge, she would give him a career execution. Bypassing her locker entirely, Maya marched straight toward the cracked open door of the technical room. He thought a woman with a mop couldn't understand systems, data, or power. That was his fatal mistake. Armed with the USB drive in her pocket, Maya stepped inside, locked the door, and accessed the server hosting the new VP's Friday board presentation file. The technical room was freezing, but Maya didn't hesitate. 7 years of being treated like invisible background noise meant she knew this server inside out. Without needing permission, she bypassed the system and navigated straight to the network's hidden executive folders. On the screen, the folder appeared exactly where she expected it. Executive Board Review. Friday. Operational Modernization Plan. Ryan Whitmore's name sat under the file properties like a signature on a confession. Maya's pulse hammered in her throat, but her hands stayed steady. She did not have much time. Jason would expect her at the basement lockers. Ryan would expect her access to be shut off. Marcus might try to buy her a few minutes, but fear could only hold a door open for so long. She opened the presentation. Ryan's first slide appeared. Whitmore and Bell Properties. Operational Discipline for a New Era. Under it, in smaller text, was his new title, Vice President of Operations. Maya almost smiled. The man had put his crown on the first page. She opened Ryan's deck, titled Operational Discipline for a New Era. Beneath the corporate buzzwords of labor optimization lay the exact blueprint for his racist purge. Maya plugged in her USB. She didn't destroy his file. She just embedded the raw truth right into his main slide. The hidden transition now linked directly to the secret audio recordings of Ryan mocking too many black faces to please investors, followed by the leaked hit list of employees marked as legacy diversity hires. Then she added one more thing, a title card that would appear before the list. Phase 1, Removal List. No decoration, no speech, just the words. Maya saved the file and checked the preview. When the slide advanced, normally, nothing happened. When it advanced in presentation mode, after Ryan's click, the screen went black for 1 second, and the audio activated. His voice filled the room through the test speakers. We need to get rid of the old Atlanta look. Maya stabbed the mute key before the rest of it played. Her breath caught. Even in that empty room, hearing his voice made her stomach turn. A sharp knock hit the door. Maya? Jason called from outside. His voice cracked with nervous authority. Mr. Whitmore said, "You need to clear your locker now." Maya closed the preview, left the presentation exactly where Ryan would expect it, and removed the USB. Jason knocked again. "Maya, I know you're in there." She slipped the USB into her pocket and opened a maintenance log on the screen, the same one technicians used when checking boardroom equipment. Then she unlocked the door and pulled it open. Jason stood there with a company tablet in both hands. He was young, maybe 26, the kind of assistant who had learned to fear powerful men before learning to respect decent people. "What are you doing in here?" he asked. Maya looked at him calmly. "Cleaning up." His eyes moved past her to the monitor. "You're not supposed to access technical systems." "I didn't." She picked up an empty paper cup from the console and dropped it into the trash bag she had grabbed on instinct. "Somebody left a mess." Jason swallowed. "Your access is being shut off." "I heard. You need to leave." "I'm leaving." He stepped aside, but not enough. Mr. Whitmore said, "If you cause trouble, we're supposed to call the police." Maya looked at him for a long second. "Jason, do I look like trouble to you?" He did not answer. That was answer enough. She walked past him toward the lockers, but before she reached them, her phone buzzed once in her pocket. She did not pull it out until she was behind a row of storage shelves. It was a text from Marcus. "He knows you went downstairs. Be careful." Maya typed back with one thumb. Already was. Then she deleted the message thread. Marcus had enough danger standing at the front desk. She would not leave him a rope Ryan could use. At her locker, Maya took only her personal things. She left the spare gloves, the labeled spray bottles, and the cleaning checklist clipped to the door. She had written that checklist herself because the old one skipped half the building and no one upstairs noticed. Whoever replaced her would need it more than she did. As she closed the locker, she heard Ryan's voice echo from the far end of the basement hallway. "She's still here?" Jason answered quickly. "She's clearing out now, sir." Ryan's shoes struck the concrete floor with impatient rhythm. Maya turned and faced him. Ryan stopped a few feet away. His eyes swept over the small cardboard box in her arms, then settled on her face. "You took long enough," he said. "I had work to finish. You don't work here. Not anymore." Ryan stepped closer, his smile dripping with arrogance. "Let's be clear, Maya. Nobody is coming to save you. No policy, no HR rule. Next week, the rest of your people in these hallways will be gone, and no one will even remember your names. The upstairs decides. The downstairs adjusts." Maya looked him dead in the eye. "And when the upstairs lies, then we call it strategy." Ryan laughed. She let the silence sit between them. For just a moment, she wanted to tell him. She wanted to tell him that his strategy was already waiting inside his own presentation, that his voice was locked behind his favorite slide, that every word he thought he had buried would soon rise in front of the board he was so desperate to impress. But revenge spoken too early becomes a warning. If you feel for Maya, a woman who was humiliated but still held on to her dignity and calm, please like this video and comment below to let us know what city or state you are watching from. Who knows? There may be people near you watching Maya's story right now too. So Maya said nothing. Ryan mistook her silence for defeat. "That's better," he said. "You're learning." Maya moved past him. At the service exit, Marcus was waiting by the door. He was not supposed to be there. His face was tight, his eyes heavy with things he wanted to say and could not say safely. "You got somewhere to go?" he asked. "My mother's apartment. You need a ride?" Maya shook her head. "Bus is faster this time of morning." Marcus nodded, then looked back down the hallway where Ryan was still standing. "He's coming for all of us, isn't he?" Maya looked at the security badge on Marcus's chest. She thought of his name on Ryan's list. She thought of the boardroom screen. Friday. Projected workforce savings. 1 click. "Yes," she said. "But he doesn't know what's coming for him." Marcus studied her face. Something in it made him stand a little straighter. "What did you do, Maya?" She pushed the exit door open and stepped into the morning light. "I made sure he brings his own evidence to the board." Marcus did not follow her outside. He stayed at the service door, one hand on the frame, watching Maya step into the back lot with a cardboard box in her arms and Ryan Whitmore's future sitting quietly on the server behind her. Maya did not look back until she reached the bus stop at the corner. From there, Whitmore and Bell Properties looked like any other office building in Atlanta, polished enough to fool people who only entered through the front. She had entered through every door. She knew the basement where pipes sweated in summer, the mailroom where older workers traded blood pressure pills and church gossip, the maintenance closet where broken equipment waited months for approval, and the executive floors where men like Ryan spoke about efficiency while stepping over the people who kept the place alive. Her bus came 6 minutes late. She sat near the back with the box on her lap and her phone clenched in her hand. She wanted to call her mother right away, but she did not trust her voice yet. Ryan's words kept replaying in her head. "Your skin color and that janitor uniform are a perfect match. Born only to clean up trash under the feet of people like me." Maya stared out the window until the glass reflected her face back at her. 25 years old, tired eyes, work shirt still damp near the cuff from the water Ryan had kicked across the lobby. He had wanted her to cry. He had wanted Marcus to see her break. He had wanted the building to learn what happened when someone like Maya forgot her place. Instead, he had given her the last push she needed. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "You coming home early?" Maya closed her eyes. "Yes. I got fired." The reply came almost immediately. "Are you safe?" That was Denise Williams. Not what happened. Not how much money do we have. Not what about my appointment. First, always, "Are you safe?" Maya typed back, "I'm safe. I'll explain when I get there." Then she added one more line. "It's bigger than me." Her mother did not answer right away. Maya could imagine her sitting at the small kitchen table, reading those words twice, already understanding more than Maya had said. Denise had spent most of her life watching powerful people rename cruelty until it sounded respectable. She had cleaned houses when she was young, worked billing at a clinic for 20 years, and learned that systems did not have to shout to hurt you. Sometimes they just denied a claim, delayed a form, lost a file, or told you to come back Monday. When Maya reached their apartment, Denise was waiting by the door in a robe, one hand pressed to the wall for balance. Her face was thinner than it had been last year, but her eyes were still sharp. "Baby," she said. That was all it took. Maya set the box down and let her mother pull her into a hug. She did not sob. She only breathed hard once, like someone surfacing from water. Denise held her for a moment, then stepped back. "Sit down. Tell me straight." Maya sat at the kitchen table. The table was small, scratched, and covered with the morning's unopened mail. Hospital envelopes, insurance notices, a grocery receipt with coupons tucked under a salt shaker. Real life waiting in paper form. "Ryan Whitmore got promoted this morning," Maya said. "First thing he did was fire me in the lobby." Denise's mouth tightened. "In front of people?" "In front of Marcus." "He say why?" Maya looked at her mother. "He didn't hide it this time." Denise pulled out the chair across from her and sat slowly. "What did he say?" Maya repeated it. "Not all of it. Enough." With every word, Denise's face went stiller, not calmer. Still in the dangerous way. Older black women became still when something ancient and familiar entered the room. "He said that out loud?" Denise asked. "Yes." "And Marcus heard it?" "Yes." "And that assistant?" "Jason. He heard it too." Denise nodded once, as if placing those names in a mental file. "Good." Maya almost laughed. "Good? Not good that it happened," Denise said. "Good that the devil got careless." Maya looked down at her hands. "Mom, he's not just firing me. He has a list. Custodial, security, maintenance, mailroom. Most of them black. He called us legacy diversity hires." Denise closed her eyes briefly. "Lord, Mama, Marcus is on it." Denise opened her eyes again. "I figured." Maya hesitated. Denise noticed. "What else?" Maya reached into her pocket and placed the USB drive on the table. Denise stared at it. "What did you do, Maya?" Maya told her. She told her about the technical room, the board presentation, the projected workforce savings slide, the audio clips, the list, the hidden transition. She explained that Ryan would not see it unless he ran the presentation in front of the board. She explained that once he clicked, his own voice would fill the room. Denise listened without interrupting. That scared Maya more than questions would have. When Maya finished, the apartment felt too quiet. Finally, Denise said, "Can they trace it back to you?" "Yes." Denise did not flinch. "Can they prove the recordings are fake?" "No. They're real. I have backups with dates." "Can he hurt you legally?" "He can try. He will try. I know." Denise leaned back, studying her daughter like she was seeing both the little girl she raised and the woman that little girl had become without asking permission. "You understand what you did?" Denise asked. Maya swallowed. "I put a bomb in his presentation." "No," Denise said. "A bomb destroys everything around it. You put a mirror in his presentation. If he doesn't like what it shows, that's between him and God." Maya looked away. "I'm scared," she admitted. Denise reached across the table and took her hand. Her fingers were cool, but her grip was firm. "Of course you are. Courage without fear is just recklessness. I could lose any chance of working again." "You could." "He could say I tampered with company property." "He will." They could believe him. They might. Maya looked back at her mother. "You're not making me feel better." "I'm not trying to make you feel better. I'm trying to make sure you're awake." Denise squeezed her hand. "Justice is not fair, baby. It asks the wounded to stand up before the comfortable will even look." Maya felt those words settle deep. Denise continued, softer now. "But listen to me. If he said all that in the lobby, if he kicked that bucket, if he threatened everybody else after you, then walking away won't save you. It'll only teach him he can do it again." Maya nodded, but her throat burned. "What happens now?" Denise asked. "Friday is the board meeting. You going back?" Maya stared at the USB. "I don't know." Denise let go of her hand. "Then know by Friday." That afternoon, Maya moved like someone living in two worlds. In one, she made her mother lunch, checked the prescription schedule, called the pharmacy, and sorted bills into piles. In the other, she kept seeing Ryan's hand snapping at Marcus, the water spreading across the lobby. the way Jason looked at his tablet instead of her face. By evening, her phone rang. Marcus. Maya answered. Mr. Hill? His voice was low. He called me upstairs. Maya stood. Ryan? Yeah. What happened? Marcus breathed out slowly. He put a statement in front of me. Said I saw a standard termination. Said you acted difficult. Maya closed her eyes. Did you sign it? No. Relief hit her so hard, she had to sit down. Marcus continued. But Maya, he had my name on another paper. I saw it when he opened the folder. Wednesday. That's when they were planning to cut me. Maya looked across the room at her mother, who was watching her carefully. I told you, Maya said. I know. Marcus paused. What did you mean when you said he was bringing his own evidence to the board? Maya did not answer right away. Marcus said, I got a daughter in nursing school. I got a mortgage that doesn't care about bravery. So before I choose a side, I need to know if there is a side to choose. Maya respected that. It was honest. Hard, but honest. There is, she said. Friday. Board presentation. Projected workforce savings. Marcus went quiet. Then he said, What did you put in there? Maya looked at the USB on the table. The truth. Marcus exhaled. Almost a laugh. Almost a prayer. Then you better be there when it plays, he said. Because men like Ryan don't fall quiet. They fall swinging. Maya knew he was right. Ryan would blame her. He would call her unstable, angry, criminal, ungrateful. He would try to make the evidence about her instead of himself. If she stayed away, the board might shut off the screen and let lawyers bury the rest. She needed to be in the building. Can you get me in Friday? She asked. Marcus did not answer quickly. When he finally spoke, his voice had changed. Use the service entrance. 11:45. If I'm still employed, I'll open the door. And if you're not, then I'll be standing outside with you. Maya's eyes stung. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Don't thank me yet, he said. Just make sure when that man clicks, he can't unclick. After the call ended, Maya sat at the table for a long time. Denise looked at her. Friday? Maya nodded. You decided? Maya picked up the USB and closed her fist around it. No, she said. Ryan decided when he kicked that bucket. By Wednesday morning, Ryan Whitmore had already started acting like the building had surrendered. He walked through the lobby with Jason half a step behind him, carrying folders, messages, and the nervous silence of a man who had decided obedience was safer than conscience. Ryan did not look at the custodial staff when he passed them. He did not answer Marcus when Marcus said good morning. He only glanced at the security desk long enough to remind Marcus that his future could still be shortened. At 8:17, Ryan sent a company-wide email. Subject: Operational modernization. Begins this week. Marcus read it from the security desk, his jaw tightening with every line. Whitmore and Bell Properties is entering a new phase of operational discipline. In order to align our workforce with future investor expectations, several departments will undergo immediate review, including custodial services, building maintenance, mailroom operations, and security support. Marcus stopped reading at security support. He knew polished language when it had a blade inside. At 8:24, Ryan appeared in the lobby. Mr. Hill, Ryan said, smiling like nothing had happened between them. Marcus stood. Mr. Whitmore, did you finish that statement? No, sir. Ryan's smile stayed in place, but his eyes changed. That wasn't a complicated assignment. I won't sign something that isn't true. Jason looked up from his tablet, then quickly looked back down. Ryan stepped closer to the desk. Careful. Truth is an expensive habit for hourly employees. Marcus kept his hands flat on the desk. Then maybe salaried ones should try it more often. For 1 second, Jason forgot to pretend he was busy. Ryan's face hardened. You think Maya Williams is worth losing your job over? Marcus looked at him. I think my name is already on your list. Ryan did not deny it. That was the answer. Instead, he leaned on the desk and lowered his voice. That girl is gone. By Monday, no one here will remember the sound of her shoes in the hallway. Don't attach yourself to a sinking thing. Marcus did not answer. Ryan straightened. Security vendors are coming in for a walkthrough tomorrow. I suggest you make a good impression. He walked away before Marcus could speak. At the same time, across town, Maya sat at her kitchen table with her old laptop open, checking every backup for the third time. She had not slept much. Her mother had dozed in the recliner for part of the morning, a blanket across her knees. But even half asleep, Denise kept one ear tuned to her daughter. Maya clicked through the folders slowly. Audio, drafts, screenshots, metadata, presentation backup, boardroom trigger test. She had named the main folder recipes in case anyone glanced quickly at the drive. Inside it, each file had a plain title, only she understood. Sunday gravy was the first recording. Cornbread was the list. Grocery notes was Ryan's draft memo. It was not elegant, but it was enough. Denise opened her eyes. You still checking that thing? Yes. You checked it last night. I know. And before breakfast. I know. Denise shifted in the chair. Then either trust your work or admit you're looking for a reason to run. Maya stopped moving the mouse. Her mother's voice was not harsh. That made it worse. I'm not running. You're thinking about it. Maya looked at the screen. He's going to call me a criminal. Yes. He's going to say I broke into a system. He will. He's going to say I'm angry. Denise gave a tired little laugh. Baby, you are angry. Don't let them make anger sound like a lie. The question is whether your anger is carrying truth or just fire. Maya turned toward her. And if they only see fire, then make sure the truth is loud enough. Maya closed the laptop halfway. I keep thinking about the moment he kicked that bucket. He didn't even care that water went everywhere. He just wanted me small. Denise leaned forward. Men like Ryan don't need you small because you are small. They need you small because they know what happens if you stand up straight. Maya looked at her mother's hands. The veins were raised, the knuckles swollen slightly from years of work and illness. Those hands had signed school forms, sorted bills, braided Maya's hair when she was little, gripped hospital bed rails, and still somehow found the strength to hold her when the world turned mean. I'm tired, Maya said. I know. I'm 25, Mama. I feel like I've been fighting since I was 18. Denise nodded. That's why you have to be careful not to confuse tired with defeated. Maya sat with that. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She stared at it. Denise noticed. Answer it. On speaker. Maya tapped the screen. Hello? A man's voice came through, smooth and official. Is this Maya Williams? Who is this? This is Daniel Price from Whitmore and Bell's Outside Employment Council. I'm calling regarding your separation from the company. Denise's eyes narrowed. Maya kept her voice even. I haven't received any separation documents. That is being processed. I'm calling to advise you that any company property in your possession, including documents, recordings, electronic files, access credentials, or internal communications, must be returned immediately. Maya did not look at the USB on the table. I don't have company property, she said. Miss Williams, I need you to understand the seriousness of this. Unauthorized possession or use of proprietary material can expose you to civil and potentially criminal consequences. Denise mouthed one word, threat. Maya's grip tightened around the phone. Are you calling every employee who got fired this week? Or just me? A pause. Mr. Whitmore expressed concern that you may have removed confidential material. Mr. Whitmore fired me in the lobby without HR present, called my race the reason I didn't belong there, kicked over my mop bucket, and threatened to purge whole departments before Friday. Did he express concern about that too? The line went silent. Daniel Price cleared his throat. I'm not aware of any such allegation. Now you are. Miss Williams, I would advise against making inflammatory accusations. Maya leaned closer to the phone. And I would advise your client to stop leaving evidence. Denise's eyebrows lifted, just slightly. Daniel's voice cooled. Is that a threat? No, Maya said. It's a warning you should have given him. She ended the call before he could answer. For a moment, neither woman spoke. Then Denise said, well, Maya exhaled. Was that stupid? It was dangerous. That's not the same answer. No, Denise said. It isn't. Maya pushed back from the table and stood. Her legs wanted to move. Her mind was running too fast to sit still. She walked to the window and looked down at the street. A school bus rolled past. A man carried groceries in one hand and a cane in the other. An older woman watered 2 plants on a balcony across the way like the whole world had not just shifted under Maya's feet. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Marcus. They brought in 2 vendor reps. Ryan walked them through security and maintenance. He said your name twice. Not good. Maya typed back. Did he check the board file? Marcus replied after a minute. Not yet. Jason said tech already tested it Monday. Ryan doesn't want changes until Friday morning. Maya let out a breath she did not know she was holding. Good. Another message came in. He told people you stole something. Maya stared at the screen. Denise watched her face. What now? He's poisoning the building before Friday. Of course he is. A man with a dirty house always blames the broom. Maya almost smiled, but it faded quickly. People might believe him. Some will. What about the ones who don't? They're waiting to see if you believe yourself. That evening, Marcus called instead of texting. I can't talk long, he said. They're watching the desk closer now. What happened? Ryan told Jason to pull a list of every badge swipe you made in the last 30 days. Maya closed her eyes. He's trying to prove I went places I shouldn't. Did you? I went places I cleaned. Marcus gave a low sound. That won't matter if he tells it right. I know. He also asked about the technical room. Maya went still. What exactly did he ask? Whether you had reason to be in there Monday morning. And what did Jason say? I don't know. But he looked scared. Maya pictured Jason outside the technical room, tablet in hand, eyes sliding past hers. He had seen her come out. He did not know what she had done. But fear could turn an unsure man into a useful weapon for Ryan. Marcus continued. Maya, if he checks that file before Friday, he won't. You sure? No. But I built it so the first view looks normal. He has to run the presentation live to trigger it. Marcus was quiet. Then he said, You really know what you're doing. Maya looked at her laptop. I know enough. That might be all we get. A noise sounded behind Marcus, and his voice dropped. I have to go. Friday, 11:45. Service entrance. If I'm not there, don't come in blind. Mr. Hill? Yeah? If they fire you before then, don't risk yourself. He gave a short laugh with no humor in it. Maya, I spent 18 years opening doors for people who didn't see me. I think I can open one for somebody who did. The call ended. Maya stood in the kitchen, holding the phone against her chest. Denise watched her daughter for a moment, then said, He's a good man. Yes, good men get scared too. I know. That doesn't make them bad. It makes the choice count. By Thursday night, Ryan's email had reached every corner of Whitmore and Bell. People were whispering in break rooms. Maintenance workers stopped talking when managers passed. Mailroom staff checked their badges like they might stop working without warning. Marcus sent one final text, near 8 p.m. Tomorrow, 11:45. Service entrance. Board starts at noon. He's wearing confidence like armor. Maya read it twice. Then she opened her laptop one final time and played the trigger preview with the sound muted. The screen went black. The title card appeared. Phase 1 removal list. Then Ryan's face, pulled from a paused frame of a meeting recording, appeared beside his own words in caption form. Maya closed the laptop. Denise was standing in the doorway. You ready? She asked. Maya picked up the USB and placed it in her pocket, though the file was already planted. The drive felt like a reminder now, not a weapon. No, Maya said, but I'm going. Denise walked into the kitchen and adjusted the collar of Maya's plain black blouse with hands that trembled only a little. Maya had chosen the blouse because it was clean, simple, and not the uniform Ryan had tried to turn into an insult. She did not want to look like she was begging for her old job. She did not want to look like she was hiding either. Denise stepped back and looked at her daughter. Remember something when you walk in there. What? You don't have to prove you're human to people who practice not seeing you. You only have to tell the truth clean. Maya nodded, but her stomach was tight. Friday had arrived with no mercy. The board meeting was at noon. Marcus would be at the service entrance at 11:45, if Ryan had not already fired him. The presentation file was still planted. The trigger was still waiting inside Ryan's favorite slide. Everything depended on a man arrogant enough to trust his own performance. That part, at least, did not worry Maya. Her phone buzzed at 10:36. Unknown number again. Maya looked at Denise. Denise said, "Speaker." Maya answered. "This is Maya." Ryan's voice came through, smooth and sharp. "You should have taken the quiet exit." Maya did not sit. "How did you get this number? You used to work for me. I have your file." "I never worked for you." A small pause. Then Ryan laughed once, still trying to sound brave. "That's adorable." Denise's face hardened, but she stayed silent. Ryan continued, "I'm giving you one chance. Stay away from the building today. Do not contact employees. Do not attempt to enter company property. Do not embarrass yourself further." Maya looked at the clock on the stove. 10:37. "If I'm so harmless," she said, "why are you calling?" His voice dropped. "Because I know your type. You get fired. You get emotional. Then you start making accusations you can't survive." "My type?" "Yes, Maya. Your type. Loud when you should be grateful. Angry when you should be gone." Maya's hand tightened around the phone, but her voice stayed level. "You kicked a bucket across the lobby and told me my skin color was why I didn't belong there. And who exactly is going to repeat that? Marcus?" Ryan scoffed. "He's trying to keep his own job. Jason? He knows better. The cameras don't record audio in the lobby. It's your word against mine." Maya looked at Denise. Her mother gave the smallest nod, not of comfort, but of recognition. There it was. Ryan was still telling the truth because he thought no one could hold it. Maya said, "Then you should feel safe." "I do." Ryan's confidence returned. "That's the difference between us. I understand power. You understand cleaning supplies." "No," Maya said. "I understand what people throw away." Ryan went quiet. She ended the call. Denise exhaled slowly. "Did you record that?" Maya held up the phone. "Automatically." "Good." Maya saved the file, backed it up, and sent a copy to an email account Ryan could not access. Then she placed her phone in her purse and picked up the USB. The file was already inside the company system, but the USB was proof of origin, proof of backup, proof that she was not walking in with empty hands. Denise touched her arm. "If they turn on you, don't start shouting. Men like that love making a black woman's volume the trial instead of their violence. I know. You speak slow. You speak plain. You make them answer the evidence." Maya kissed her mother's cheek. "Lock the door after me. Baby, I'm sick. Not helpless." For the first time that morning, Maya smiled. The bus ride to downtown Atlanta felt shorter than usual and too long at the same time. Maya sat near the front, watching office workers step on with travel mugs, badges, earbuds, and faces that had no idea how many quiet wars were being fought behind company glass. She wondered how many of them had sat in meetings where someone's livelihood became a line item. She wondered how many had nodded because the words were clean enough to hide the damage. At 11:38, she stepped off 2 blocks from Whitmore and Bell Properties. She did not use the front entrance. Ryan would expect that if he expected her at all. She walked around to the side street where delivery vans came and went, where the service door sat beneath a security camera angled badly enough that half the entrance stayed in a blind spot. She knew that because she had reported it twice and no one had fixed it. At 11:44, Marcus opened the door from inside. He looked older than he had on Monday. "You came," he said. "You opened?" "Almost didn't." Maya studied his face. "What happened?" "They suspended my access to the executive elevators this morning. Ryan said I was under performance review. But you're still here. For now." Marcus glanced down the hallway behind him. "Come on. We got maybe 3 minutes before the new security supervisor does his round." Maya stepped inside. The service corridor smelled like cardboard, copier toner, and old coffee. It should have felt familiar. It did not. Every camera seemed more awake than before. Every door seemed to ask what she was willing to lose. Marcus walked beside her. Not in front. Not behind. "Ryan told everybody you stole confidential documents," he said. "I figured. He said you threatened the company. He called me this morning." Marcus stopped. "He what?" Maya kept walking. "I recorded it." Marcus stared at her for half a second, then shook his head. That man is allergic to shutting up. He thinks silence belongs to everyone else. They reached the freight elevator. Marcus swiped his badge. For one terrible second, nothing happened. Then, the light turned green. Marcus let out a breath. Still works. The elevator doors opened. Inside, Maya checked her phone. 11:49. The board meeting started at noon. Green would already be upstairs, arranging his notes, rehearsing his smile, preparing to tell powerful people that erasing black workers was simply good business. As the freight elevator rose, Marcus looked at Maya. "Tell me one thing." "What?" "When it plays, can he stop it?" "He can cut the screen if he reacts fast enough. But the first audio clip will already be heard. The list will flash, before anyone can pretend nothing happened. And I have the full backup." Marcus nodded slowly. "So he only has to click once." Once, the elevator stopped 2 floors below the board level. Marcus had chosen the service access instead of the main executive floor. Smart, less traffic, fewer eyes. He led her into a narrow supply area near the boardroom corridor. From there, Maya could see a wall-mounted monitor mirroring the boardroom display. The screen showed the first slide already loaded. Whitmore and Bell Properties. Operational Discipline for a New Era. Presented by Ryan Whitmore, Vice President of Operations. Maya felt her pulse rise. Ryan was already in the room. Through the partially open service panel, she heard his voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Today is not about cutting people. It is about positioning this company for the future." Marcus muttered, "Liar." Maya did not answer. She watched the monitor. Inside the boardroom, Ryan moved to slide 2, then slide 3. He was smooth, confident. The kind of confident that came from never having paid full price for being wrong. A woman's voice interrupted him. Calm, older, firm. "Ryan, before you continue, I want clarity. Are current employees being offered transfers before vendor replacement?" Maya recognized the name from company documents. Eleanor Bell, board member, daughter of one of the founders. Ryan had once called her ceremonial, when he thought only Jason and an empty hallway could hear. Ryan answered quickly. "Where appropriate." "Yes." Maya's jaw tightened. "Where appropriate." Another clean phrase hiding a dirty decision. Eleanor said, "And who decides what is appropriate?" Ryan chuckled lightly. "Operations does. That is why this promotion was necessary." Marcus whispered, "He really thinks he's untouchable." Maya watched Ryan advance another slide. Vendor savings, staffing efficiencies, liability reduction. The monitor glowed against her face. Jason appeared suddenly at the far end of the corridor. He saw Maya. His eyes widened. Marcus turned. "Keep walking, Jason." Jason swallowed. "She's not supposed to be here." Maya stepped toward him. Neither was the truth, apparently. Jason looked toward the boardroom door, then back at her. Fear pulled at him from both sides. "If Ryan sees you, he will," Maya said. Jason's voice dropped. "I didn't agree with what he said Monday, but you stood there." His face flushed. "I know," Marcus said. "Then decide faster this time." From inside the boardroom, Ryan's voice rose with practiced pride. "And now we come to the central value of this plan. Projected workforce savings." Maya turned back to the monitor. Her mouth went dry. This was it. On the screen, the slide title appeared. Projected workforce savings. Ryan stood beside the display, remote in hand, smiling like a man about to be applauded for arithmetic. Jason whispered, "What did you do?" Maya did not look away from the screen. "I made him honest." Ryan faced the board and said, "This is where the numbers speak for themselves." His thumb pressed the remote. His thumb pressed the remote. For half a second, nothing happened. Ryan kept smiling. The kind of smile a man wears when he believes the room has already chosen his side. The board members sat around the long table, folders open, coffee cups untouched, eyes fixed on the screen. Eleanor Bell leaned back in her chair, watching him with a patience that did not look friendly. Then the screen went black. Ryan's smile twitched. A low click sounded through the boardroom speakers, followed by a thin burst of static. Ryan turned toward the display, frowning as if the equipment had embarrassed him. Jason took one step forward in the corridor outside, but Marcus caught his sleeve and held him back. "Don't," Marcus whispered. Jason looked at him. "The system is glitching." "No," Maya said softly. "It's working." Inside the boardroom, Ryan lifted the remote and pressed again. That was when his own voice filled the room. "We need to get rid of the old Atlanta look. Too many black faces in the wrong places make investors uncomfortable." No one moved. Not Ryan. Not the board. Not Jason. Not even Marcus. The words hung in the air with the ugly confidence of a man who had once believed they would stay behind closed doors. Ryan's face drained of color. "That is not part of the presentation." Eleanor Bell's eyes did not leave him. "We heard that." Ryan turned toward the screen, then toward the IT panel near the wall. "Jason." Jason flinched in the corridor. Ryan shouted again, louder. "Jason, shut it off." Jason started forward, but Maya stepped into his path. "If you touch that system," she said, "you become part of what happens next." Jason froze. Inside the room, Ryan jabbed the remote again, desperate to move past the damage. The screen changed. A white slide appeared with a plain black title. Phase 1 Removal List. Under it came names, department, position, replacement status, vendor transition date. Next to several names appeared a column Ryan had never meant for the board to see. Legacy Diversity Hire. Marcus Hill. Security. Replace Wednesday. Maya Williams. Custodial. Terminated. Monday. Anthony Brooks. Maintenance. Replace Friday. Laverne Price. Mailroom. Replace Friday. Denise Carpenter. Custodial. Replace pending vendor onboarding. The list kept going. A man near the far end of the board table muttered, "What the hell is this?" Ryan stepped in front of the screen as if his body could cover the names. "This is fabricated." Maya heard herself breathe once, slow and sharp. He had gone straight to denial. Not shock, not shame. Denial. Eleanor stood. "Move away from the screen, Ryan." I said, "This is fabricated." "Then move away from it and explain why your personnel coding appears in a board presentation under your author credentials." Ryan turned on her. "Eleanor, with respect, you don't understand operational restructuring." Her expression changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, but something closed behind her eyes. "With respect," she said, "my father's name is on this company. I understand exactly what kind of filth men try to hide under clean language." A second audio file began before Ryan could answer. His voice again. "Call it modernization. Never call it race. The board only reads savings." This time, someone at the table pushed back his chair. Ryan shouted, "Stop the presentation." No one moved fast enough. The slide shifted again. It showed a scanned draft of the operational modernization plan. Ryan's initials were in the corner. A note was highlighted in yellow. "Prioritize removal before board review." Then another clip played. "Security first if Marcus doesn't sign. He's old enough to scare and close enough to retirement to fold." Marcus's hand tightened around the corridor wall. Jason whispered, "Oh my God." Maya looked at him. "Now you hear it." Inside the boardroom, Ryan had stopped pretending to be calm. "This is an attack. This is illegal tampering. Someone broke into my file." Eleanor looked toward the door. "Then whoever did it should come in." Maya did not wait for Ryan to call her name. She stepped into the boardroom. The room turned toward her. For 7 years, she had entered rooms like this after meetings ended, after decisions had been made, after executives left crumbs, coffee stains, and words in the trash. This was the first time she entered while they were still seated. Ryan pointed at her like he had found a criminal. "There. That is the former janitor I terminated Monday. She tampered with company property." Maya stopped near the end of the table, not too close to Ryan, not behind anyone. Marcus came in behind her. Jason stayed in the doorway, pale and silent. Eleanor looked at Maya. "Your name?" "Maya Williams." Ryan laughed hard, but there was panic under it. "Don't entertain this. She's a disgruntled cleaner who stole confidential materials." Maya looked at him. "No, Ryan. I put your own words where you planned to put your lies." The room went silent again. Ryan took a step toward her. You don't understand what you've done. I understand exactly what I did. You accessed restricted systems. I accessed the technical room I cleaned every day because your boardroom system was failing and your file was left on a shared machine. That doesn't give you the right. And firing employees because they're black doesn't give you one either. A board member turned to Ryan. Is the audio real? Ryan's mouth opened, but no answer came. Maya reached into her purse and took out the USB. She placed it on the table, not throwing it, not waving it, just setting it down like evidence belongs on wood, not in whispers. This drive contains the original recordings, the draft memo, screenshots of the removal list, file timestamps, and the call Ryan made to me this morning, telling me to stay away from the building. Ryan snapped. That call was private. Maya turned to him. So was your racism. You should have protected both better. A few board members looked away, not from Maya, but from the shame of recognizing too late what kind of man they had promoted. Eleanor reached for the USB but did not pick it up yet. You said he called you this morning? Yes, ma'am. What did he say? Maya held Ryan's stare. He said it was my word against his because the lobby cameras don't record audio. He said Marcus would not stand up for me. He said Jason knew better. Then he told me people like me get loud when we should be grateful. Jason closed his eyes. Eleanor looked toward him. Is that true? Jason swallowed. Ryan stared at him with murder in his eyes. Jason, Eleanor said, this is the moment you decide whether you work for a company or for a cover-up. Jason's shoulders sagged. Yes, he said. He called her. I heard him after. He said she needed to be scared off before the meeting. Ryan spun toward him. You weak little. Enough, Eleanor said. The word cut through the room. Ryan breathed hard, looking from face to face, calculating who still belonged to him. The answer was arriving slowly and killing him by inches. He tried one more time. You are all being manipulated. This woman was terminated for operational reasons. She has no authority here, Maya said. You made that mistake Monday. Ryan glared at her. What mistake? You thought authority was the same thing as truth. Eleanor picked up the USB. Ryan, she said. Sit down. He stared at her. Excuse me? Sit down. Do not touch the system. Do not leave the room. Do not speak to staff. This board is calling legal counsel, outside counsel, and an independent investigator right now. Ryan's face twisted. You're going to take the word of a janitor over mine? Maya answered before Eleanor could. No, she said. They're taking your word over yours. That landed. Ryan looked back at the screen, where his own removal list still glowed behind him. For the first time since he had kicked the bucket in the lobby, he looked afraid. Eleanor turned to Marcus. Mr. Hill, were you present when Miss Williams was terminated? Marcus stepped forward. His voice shook at first, then steadied. Yes, ma'am. Did Mr. Whitmore follow normal HR procedure? No, ma'am. Did he make comments about her race? Ryan barked. Careful, Marcus. Marcus looked at him. For 18 years, he had opened doors for executives who forgot his name. For 18 years, he had said good morning to people who answered with silence. For 18 years, he had believed keeping his head down was the same as keeping his family safe. Then he looked at Maya. Yes, ma'am, he said. He did. Ryan's jaw clenched. Eleanor asked, Did he threaten your job? Marcus nodded. He gave me a statement to sign. It was false. He said if I didn't sign it, my name could move up on the list. Eleanor looked at the board members one by one. Now we know what the list is. Ryan's remote slipped from his hand and hit the carpet with a small, useless sound. No one picked it up. For a moment, Ryan Whitmore stood in the center of the boardroom as if the floor beneath him had changed shape. The same room that was supposed to crown him now held him in place. The same screen that was supposed to make him look brilliant had turned into a witness. The same people who had nodded through his cost charts now stared at him like they were seeing the man behind the title for the first time. Eleanor Bell placed the USB in front of the board's legal advisor, a silver-haired woman named Patricia Lowe, who had not spoken once during Ryan's presentation. Patricia looked down at it, then at Ryan. Do not touch any company device, Patricia said. Do not delete, alter, or remove any file from this building. Ryan gave a sharp laugh. Are you serious? Very. This is absurd. A fired janitor walks into a restricted meeting with stolen material, and you're treating me like I'm the liability? Patricia did not blink. At this moment, you are. The word liability hit Ryan harder than any insult could have. He had built his whole morning around calling other people inefficient, outdated, replaceable. Now the company's own lawyer had reduced him to a risk. Eleanor turned to Jason, who still stood near the door like a man waiting for permission to breathe. Mr. Porter, close the door. Jason looked at Ryan. Ryan snapped. Don't you dare. Jason's hand shook, but he reached for the handle and closed the boardroom door. Ryan stared at him. You just ended your career. Jason swallowed. I think you ended yours. The room went silent again, but this time it was different. Not shock. Recognition. Eleanor looked to Maya. Miss Williams, I need you to answer carefully. Did you create any of the audio we heard? No, ma'am. Did you alter it? No, ma'am. Did you record Mr. Whitmore yourself? Yes, ma'am. Some of it. Where? Near conference room 12 after hours, outside the technical room, and on the phone this morning. Ryan jumped in. Without consent. Maya turned to him. Georgia is a one-party consent state, Ryan. I was part of the phone call, and when you were loud enough for the hallway, that wasn't privacy. That was arrogance. A low murmur moved around the table. Patricia made a note. Ryan's face reddened. You think taking one community college class makes you a lawyer? No, Maya said. I think being underestimated makes a person careful. Eleanor raised one hand, stopping Ryan before he could answer. Miss Williams. The list shown on the screen. Where did it come from? Maya looked at the still image behind Ryan. The names were frozen there, plain and undeniable. From a printed draft left beside the technical room printer last week. I photographed it. I also found a digital version attached to the board presentation folder Monday morning. Ryan slapped the table. Because you broke in. Maya did not raise her voice. Because I cleaned the room where you left it. That does not authorize you to access executive material. No. But it does explain why you should stop leaving racist plans on shared equipment. One of the older board members, a man named Charles Dunham, leaned forward. Until then, he had looked more annoyed than horrified, the way some men looked when scandal interrupted lunch. Miss Williams, he said, why didn't you report this through proper channels? Maya looked at him. To whom? To HR? Ryan told me. HR reported to him now. To legal then. His outside counsel called me yesterday to threaten me before anyone asked what happened. Patricia's pen stopped. Maya continued. To my supervisor. He was part of the vendor transition. To security? Marcus was on the list. To the board? I don't have board members' personal numbers sitting in my phone. I had one place where I knew Ryan would have to bring the truth himself. Charles sat back slowly. Maya added, proper channels only work when the people blocking the channel aren't the problem. That sentence stayed in the room longer than she expected. Ryan looked around, desperate for one face to rescue him. You're all letting her control the room. Eleanor said. No, Ryan. You controlled the room until your own words came out of the speakers. I was speaking informally. You were speaking clearly. I was discussing brand risk. You were discussing black employees as if they were stains. Ryan's mouth opened, then closed. Maya watched him search for language. That was what he did best. He took ugly things and wrapped them in words a board could sign. But now every word he reached for came apart in his hands. Patricia turned to the board chair. We need to suspend Mr. Whitmore's access immediately. Preserve all records, contact outside investigators, and notify employment counsel that prior guidance may be conflicted. Ryan stared at her. You're suspending me? Eleanor answered before anyone else. Yes. You don't have authority to do that alone. No. But I can call for a vote. Charles shifted in his chair. Another member nodded. Then another. The speed of it shocked Ryan. He had mistaken politeness for loyalty. Eleanor looked at the table. All in favor of immediate administrative suspension of Ryan Whitmore, pending independent investigation. Hands rose. Not all at once, but enough. Ryan looked at each hand as if it were a betrayal. When Jason raised his hand from beside the door, Ryan's expression turned murderous. "You're not even on the board," Ryan hissed. Jason lowered his hand awkwardly. "I know. It just felt right." Despite everything, Marcus almost smiled. Eleanor stood. "Ryan Whitmore, effective immediately. You are suspended from your role as Vice President of Operations. Your building access will be disabled. You will surrender your badge, company phone, laptop, and any physical files in your possession before leaving this floor." Ryan's face hardened. "You cannot march me out like some criminal." Maya spoke quietly. "You had no problem marching me out like trash." His eyes cut to her. "You don't get to talk to me." "I know," Maya said. "That was the whole system." Ryan stepped toward her. Marcus moved first. He did not grab Ryan. He did not shove him. He simply stepped between Ryan and Maya, shoulders squared, older but not small. "Back up, Mr. Whitmore." Ryan looked at him with pure disbelief. "Your security." "Yes, sir," Marcus said. "That's why I'm standing here." The words landed clean. Even Eleanor looked at him with something like respect. Ryan's jaw worked. "You people think this is over?" Maya met his eyes. "No. I think it finally started." Patricia lifted the conference phone and began calling legal. Eleanor gave Jason instructions to have IT lock Ryan's accounts. Marcus stayed between Maya and Ryan, while the board chair called the building's executive security contractor to escort Ryan out without incident. Ryan reached into his pocket. Marcus's voice sharpened. "Hands where I can see them." Ryan froze. "I was getting my phone." "Not anymore," Patricia said. "Place it on the table." Ryan looked at her, then at the phone, then at Maya. Slowly, he set it down. His badge came next. He unclipped it with stiff fingers and dropped it onto the table. Unlike Maya, he did not place it with dignity. He threw it, but it only skidded a few inches and stopped beside the remote he had dropped earlier. Two small pieces of plastic. One had opened doors. One had closed his. Eleanor looked at Maya. "Miss Williams, I understand this is difficult, but I need to ask one more thing before we move you to another room. Are you willing to provide a formal statement?" Maya glanced at Marcus. He gave a small nod. "Yes, ma'am," she said. Ryan laughed bitterly. "Of course she is. She came here for a payday." Maya turned to him one last time. "No, Ryan. If I wanted only money, I would have sued you quietly. I came because you had a list." That shut him up. For the first time all day, no comeback arrived. Executive security opened the door. Two men in dark jackets entered, both careful, both professional, both looking to Eleanor and Patricia instead of Ryan. Ryan straightened his shoulders as if posture could rebuild power. He walked toward the door, then stopped beside Maya. His voice dropped low enough that only she, Marcus, and Jason could hear. "You destroyed me." Maya did not look away. "No," she said. "You clicked the slide." Ryan's face twisted, but Marcus took one step closer, and Ryan kept walking. The door closed behind him. No applause came. No music. No sudden relief. Just a room full of powerful people staring at the mess they had almost approved because the charts looked clean. Eleanor looked at the frozen screen, then at Maya. "I owe you an apology," she said. Maya shook her head. "Start with the people on that list." "Start with the people on that list." Eleanor Bell did not answer right away. She looked back at the screen, where the names still sat in plain black text, stripped of every corporate disguise Ryan had tried to wrap around them. Marcus Hill, Anthony Brooks, Laverne Price, Denise Carpenter, dozens of others. People who had clocked in, signed logs, fixed leaks, cleaned restrooms, carried mail, watched doors, and kept the company alive from the bottom while men upstairs discussed how to erase them. Eleanor turned to Patricia. "Freeze all personnel actions connected to the operational modernization plan." Today, Patricia was already writing. "Agreed. Not Monday," Eleanor said. "Not after a review. Today. No one on that list is to be terminated, transferred, locked out, reassigned, pressured, or contacted by Ryan or anyone acting on his behalf." The board chair, a heavy-set man named Alan Reeves, cleared his throat. "We need to be careful how we proceed. If we move too fast, we expose the company." Eleanor turned on him. Alan, the company is already exposed. The question is whether we stop the bleeding or keep explaining why the knife was polished. No one spoke. Maya stood near the end of the table with her hands at her sides. Her knees felt weak now that Ryan was gone. Not before. Before, anger had held her upright. Now that the room had shifted, the cost of what she had done began to arrive in pieces. She had walked into the boardroom of the company that fired her. She had altered a presentation. She had exposed a vice president. She had placed herself directly in the path of whatever lawyers, rumors, and retaliation came next. Marcus saw her sway a little. "Miss Williams? I'm fine." "No. You're standing like people stand when they're trying to convince the floor." Eleanor heard him. "Get her a chair." "I don't need—" "Maya," Marcus said quietly. She sat. That small act nearly broke her. Not because sitting meant weakness, but because it was the first time all day someone in that building had offered her a place instead of ordering her out of one. Jason stood by the door, pale and sweating. Patricia looked at him. "Mr. Porter, I need Ryan Whitmore's company laptop, phone, and any folders he brought into the building this morning secured immediately. You will not go alone." "Mr. Hill, can you accompany him?" Marcus looked at Eleanor. "Am I still security?" Eleanor's eyes softened for half a second. "Yes, Mr. Hill. And after today, we will discuss why you ever had to ask that." Marcus nodded once. "Then I'll go." Before he left, he bent slightly toward Maya. "You all right?" "Not yet," she said. "That's honest." He and Jason left the room. As soon as the door closed, Alan Reeves leaned forward. "Miss Williams, I want to make sure we understand your position. You admit you accessed an executive presentation file after termination." Maya looked at him. "I accessed the technical system before my access was shut off, in a room I was assigned to clean, using a file that had already been placed on a shared testing machine." Alan's mouth tightened. "That is a very careful answer. It's an accurate one. I'm sure you understand the company cannot encourage employees to take matters into their own hands." Maya stared at him for a moment. "The company encouraged Ryan to take people's lives into his hands. I didn't hear much concern until the screen started talking." Patricia looked up from her notes, but did not interrupt. Alan said, "We are not defending Ryan. You promoted him." That stopped him. Maya's voice stayed calm, but it carried. "You gave him a title, a room, a budget, and a microphone. I had a mop, a phone, and a USB. Ask yourself why my tools scare you more than his." Eleanor's face changed. She looked down, then back up at Maya. "That is a fair question." Alan leaned back, unhappy but silent. Patricia pushed a yellow legal pad across the table. "Miss Williams, I need a basic timeline. We will get a full statement later with counsel present, but right now we need enough to preserve evidence and stop any further harm." Maya nodded. "Monday morning, Ryan fired me in the lobby before 9. No HR meeting. No written explanation given to me. He kicked my mop bucket, made comments about my race, and said he was king here now." Alan looked uncomfortable at the word king. Maya continued. "He told Jason to get me out before 9. Marcus witnessed it. Jason witnessed most of it. Ryan said, custodial, maintenance, and security would be under review by Friday. I already knew about the list because I found the printed draft the week before." "Where?" Patricia asked. "Near the technical room printer." "And why were you there?" "Cleaning." Patricia wrote that down. "Then, I photographed the draft, backed it up, and kept watching. Monday, after Ryan fired me, I went to the technical room. His board presentation was already loaded for testing. I inserted the recordings, screenshots, and list into the projected workforce savings portion. You intended for it to play publicly? I intended for it to play to the people he was lying to." Eleanor's mouth tightened, but not in anger. "And this morning's call? He called me at home, told me not to come, said it was my word against his because the lobby cameras don't record audio, said people like me get loud when we should be grateful." Patricia stopped writing for a moment. "Do you have the recording?" "Yes. We'll need it preserved. You'll get a copy. Not the only copy." Patricia looked at her carefully. "Good." That single word surprised Maya. The boardroom door opened. Marcus and Jason returned with Ryan's laptop, phone, and 2 folders. Marcus placed them on the table like evidence from a crime scene. Jason looked worse than when he left. He was at the elevator, Marcus said, trying to call someone from his personal phone. Patricia looked sharply at Jason. Did he take any company materials? Jason shook his head. No. Security stopped him. He kept saying his father would fix it. Eleanor's jaw set. His father hasn't worked here in 9 years. Jason looked down. He also said Maya would be arrested before dinner. Maya felt the sentence move through the room like a draft under a door. Patricia turned to her. Miss Williams, do not leave alone today. Maya almost laughed. I came here alone, and you shouldn't leave that way. Eleanor nodded. We'll arrange transportation. I can take the bus. No, Eleanor said, and there was no corporate polish in her voice now. Not today. Maya looked at her. With respect, ma'am, don't turn me into a charity case, because the board finally looked at the screen. Eleanor accepted the rebuke. Fair. Then let me say it differently. We have a responsibility to protect a witness after one of our executives threatened her. Maya did not answer at once. That, I can accept. Jason stepped forward. Miss Williams. Maya looked at him. His face flushed. I should have said something Monday. Yes, Maya said. He swallowed. I was scared. I know. I'm still scared. So am I. That seemed to hit him harder than anger would have. Maya added, Fear doesn't make you innocent, Jason. It just explains the delay. He nodded, eyes lowered. I'll give a statement. Give the truth, she said. Not for me. For everyone on that list. Marcus looked at Jason. And don't dress it up. I won't, Jason said. Eleanor rose from her chair. We are moving this meeting to legal hold status. Patricia, contact outside investigators. Alan, notify the full board that all actions tied to Ryan's plan are suspended. Jason, you will provide IT with every location Ryan stored presentation materials. Mr. Hill, please remain available for a statement. Marcus nodded. Yes, ma'am. Eleanor turned to Maya. Miss Williams, I would like you to come with me to a smaller conference room. You can call your mother. Then we'll discuss what you need right now. Maya stood slowly. What I need right now is for Marcus's badge to keep working. Eleanor looked at Marcus. It will. And the mailroom. Maintenance. Custodial. Yes. Not just words. Eleanor held her gaze. Not just words. Maya wanted to believe her. She did not yet. Belief was expensive, and the company had spent 7 years teaching her to save it. As they walked out of the boardroom, Maya passed the screen one last time. The Phase 1 removal list still glowed there, but now it looked different. 10 minutes ago, it had been a death sentence. Now it was evidence. In the hallway, employees had begun to gather at careful distances, pretending not to look while looking at everything. Rumor had moved faster than any official memo ever could. Ryan's suspension had already slipped through the building's walls. A maintenance worker named Anthony Brooks stood near the service elevator. When he saw Maya, his face changed. He did not smile. This was not a smiling moment. He simply placed one hand over his chest and nodded. Maya nodded back. That nearly broke her more than the chair had. Eleanor noticed. He was on the list? Yes. And he knows? He knows enough. They entered a smaller conference room. Eleanor closed the door, then pulled out a chair for Maya herself. Maya looked at the chair, then at Eleanor. Eleanor said, I'm learning. Maya sat. Her hands were steady now, but her voice was not when she called her mother. Denise answered on the first ring. Baby? Maya closed her eyes. He clicked the slide. For 3 seconds, Denise said nothing. Maya could hear the television in the background. Turned low. Some daytime judge show her mother only watched when she was too worried to sit in silence. Then Denise breathed out. And? Maya pressed the phone tighter to her ear. It played. His voice. The list. Everything. Denise's voice changed. It became softer, but not weaker. Did they hear him? Yes. Did they try to shut it down? He did. The board didn't. Where is he now? Suspended. Escorted out. Denise made a sound that was half prayer, half relief. Thank you, Lord. Maya looked across the small conference room. Eleanor Bell stood near the door, giving her space but not leaving her alone. Marcus waited outside in the hallway, visible through the narrow glass panel. Jason was farther down, speaking with Patricia and looking like a man who had aged 5 years in half an hour. Denise asked, "Are you safe?" "Yes. They're keeping me here for a statement." "Do you have someone with you?" "Eleanor Bell." "The board woman?" "Yes." Denise paused. "Do you trust her?" Maya glanced at Eleanor. Eleanor did not pretend not to hear. She met Maya's eyes and accepted the question, without offense. "I don't know yet," Maya said honestly. "Good. Don't spend trust too fast." Maya almost smiled. "She can hear you. Then she can learn something." Eleanor's mouth moved, almost a smile, but she stayed quiet. Denise continued, "Listen to me. You tell them everything in order. Don't decorate it. Don't soften it. Don't let them turn this into your attitude, your anger, or your method before they deal with his crime. I know. No, baby. Hear me. They will be grateful for 5 minutes, then afraid of lawsuits for 5 years. That fear can make decent people cowardly." Maya closed her eyes. "I know. Make them put protection in writing." Maya opened her eyes. "For Marcus and the others. For all of you. And for you too. You are not bulletproof because you were right." That sentence landed hard. Maya whispered, "I love you. I love you too. Call me before you leave that building. And don't get in any car, unless you know who ordered it." "Yes, ma'am." When Maya ended the call, Eleanor waited a moment before speaking. "Your mother is a wise woman." She had to be. Eleanor pulled out a chair and sat across from her. "She's right, about putting it in writing." Maya set her phone on the table. "Then start." Eleanor nodded. "Patricia is drafting an immediate preservation and non-retaliation order. It will cover you, Marcus, Jason, and every employee listed in Ryan's plan. Jason? He's a witness. He helped him. He also just confirmed part of what happened." Maya looked down at the table. "That doesn't erase Monday." "No," Eleanor said. "It doesn't. I don't want this company forgiving people fast just because they got scared late." Eleanor took that in. "Fair." Maya leaned forward. "And I don't want Ryan's plan paused quietly while everyone waits for the news cycle to forget a story that never reached the news. It won't be quiet. Companies always say that." Eleanor's face tightened with something like shame. "I know." Before Maya could answer, Patricia entered with a yellow folder and a laptop. She closed the door behind her and placed both on the table. "Miss Williams," Patricia said, "I'm going to be direct. Ryan has already called his personal attorney. His attorney called me. Their position is that you unlawfully accessed a confidential company file and manipulated a board presentation." Maya sat back. "That didn't take long." "No, it didn't." Eleanor's voice cooled. "And what is our position?" Patricia looked at Maya, then at Eleanor. "Our position is that the company discovered credible evidence of discriminatory intent, retaliation, and planned adverse employment actions targeting employees based on race. Our position is also that Miss Williams is a whistleblower witness and must not be retaliated against." Maya studied Patricia. "That sounds clean." "It needs to be. Clean language is how Ryan hid dirt." Patricia did not flinch. "Then let's make sure ours doesn't." Maya respected that more than comfort. Patricia opened the folder. "I need your statement from Monday morning through the meeting today." Marcus is giving his separately. Jason is giving his. "We are also pulling security video from the lobby, service hallway, technical room corridor, and board level." Maya's stomach tightened. "The technical room camera?" "Yes. I entered the room. We know. I locked the door." Patricia nodded. "The video will show that. Then Ryan will use it." "He will try," Eleanor said. "But he kicked a mop bucket in the lobby, terminated you without process, made racist statements, threatened other employees, and then his own board file contained a race-targeted removal list. We are not pretending your method creates the same problem as his misconduct." Maya looked at her. "Say that in the written order." Eleanor turned to Patricia. "Put it in." Patricia typed. "Understood." There was a knock. Marcus opened the door halfway. Sorry. Anthony Brooks and 2 mailroom folks are outside. They heard their names were on something. They're scared. Maya stood immediately. Eleanor stood too. Bring them in. Patricia hesitated. We need to manage communication. Maya looked at her. They were managed into a termination list. Try honesty. Patricia closed her laptop halfway. Bring them in. Marcus opened the door. Anthony Brooks entered first. He was a maintenance worker in his late 50s with a knee brace over his work pants and a faded Falcons cap twisted in his hands. Behind him came Laverne Price from the mailroom and a younger man named Darius who handled deliveries. All 3 looked at Maya first. Not Eleanor, not Patricia. Anthony spoke carefully. Maya, is it true? She did not ask what he meant. Yes. My name was on there? Yes, sir. He swallowed. For what? For being in the way of Ryan's plan. Laverne pressed a hand to her mouth. They were going to fire us? Eleanor answered this time. The plan has been suspended. No one on that list is being terminated today. Anthony turned to her. With respect, ma'am. Today ain't the only day we got to survive. Eleanor absorbed that. You're right. That is why I'm putting a written order in place, effective immediately, protecting everyone on that list from retaliation while the investigation proceeds. Darius looked skeptical. And, after the investigation, no one answered fast enough. Maya looked at Eleanor. Eleanor said, after the investigation, this board will have to decide whether Whitmore and Bell is going to be the company Ryan tried to make it, or the company it claims to be. Anthony gave a humorless laugh. Boards always decide after workers bleed. Maya said, that's why we keep pressure on the wound. Everyone looked at her. She had not planned to say it, but once it was out, it felt true. Patricia slid a notepad toward Anthony. I need names of anyone Ryan or his team contacted about vendor replacement, performance reviews, or resignations. Anthony looked at Maya again. She nodded. Write it down. Laverne stepped closer to Maya. Baby, what did you do? Maya exhaled. I made him click. For the first time that day, Laverne smiled. It was small, exhausted, and beautiful. Good, she said. Some men only believe in buttons till one opens a trap door. The room changed after that. Not safe, not healed, but no longer silent. More employees gathered outside. Word spread that Ryan was gone from the building, that the board had frozen the list, that Maya had walked into the boardroom and made his own voice testify against him. Some people cried quietly. Some were angry. Some wanted to know if their insurance was safe, if their badges would still work Monday, if they needed lawyers, if Ryan could come back. Eleanor finally stepped into the hallway and raised her voice. Everyone, listen to me. I am Eleanor Bell, board member of Whitmore and Bell Properties. Effective immediately, all terminations, transfers, and vendor replacements tied to the operational modernization plan are suspended. No employee on the list shown today will lose access, pay, or benefits, while an independent investigation is underway. A written notice will be issued before close of business. Anthony called out. And Ryan? Eleanor did not hesitate. Ryan Whitmore is suspended and barred from contacting employees. Marcus, standing near the wall, looked down as if something heavy had shifted off his chest. Then a woman from custodial asked, What about Maya? The hallway went quiet. Maya felt every eye turn toward her. Eleanor looked at her, not over her. Miss Williams' termination is rescinded pending review. Maya stepped forward. No. Eleanor blinked. No? Maya looked at the workers in the hallway, then back at Eleanor. Don't make it pending. He fired me illegally in front of witnesses. He targeted me because of my race. He threatened my coworkers. If you know enough to suspend him, you know enough to say what happened to me was wrong. The silence sharpened. Patricia appeared in the doorway. She's right. Eleanor nodded slowly. Then I'll say it clearly. Maya Williams was wrongfully terminated. Her access, pay, and benefits will be restored immediately. Maya held her breath. The hallway did not erupt. These were working people. They knew better than to cheer before paper existed. But something moved through them anyway. A quiet current of relief and pride. Marcus looked at Maya and said, Miss Williams, this time, It did not sound like comfort. It sounded like recognition. This time, it did not sound like comfort. It sounded like recognition. Maya stood in the hallway with every worker's eyes on her and felt the weight of it settle across her shoulders. Recognition was not light. It did not float like praise. It landed like responsibility. 5 minutes ago, she had been trying to survive Ryan Whitmore. Now people were looking at her as if she had opened a door they had been leaning against for years. Eleanor turned to Patricia. "Draft the notice now. I want it sent to every employee before close of business." Patricia nodded. "The language will need to be precise. Precise is fine. Cowardly is not." Anthony Brooks gave a low, from the hallway. Eleanor looked at him. "You'll get plain language too, Mr. Brooks." Anthony held up both hands. "I'll believe plain language when payroll understands it." That earned a few tired laughs. Not joy, exactly. More like people remembering they still had lungs. Maya's phone buzzed. She glanced down. Her mother. Did they put it in writing yet? Maya almost smiled. "Working on it." The reply came fast. "Do not leave until they do." Maya typed back. "I know." Eleanor saw the exchange. "Your mother?" "Yes. She still doesn't trust us." Maya looked at her. "Should she?" Eleanor took the hit without flinching. "Not yet." That answer mattered. Before Maya could respond, the elevator at the end of the corridor opened. 2 executive security officers stepped out with Ryan's assistant Jason between them. His face looked drained, and he clutched a folder like it might keep him upright. "I found something," Jason said. Patricia stepped forward. "What?" Jason looked at Maya first. It was in Ryan's office. Bottom drawer. "He told me never to touch it." Eleanor's voice sharpened. "Open it." Jason placed the folder on the nearest table and lifted the flap. Inside were printed personnel summaries, several marked with red tabs. Maya recognized the format immediately. Employee names, departments, years of service, pay rates, benefit costs. Notes beside some names, not leadership material. 2 tied to community culture. Replace before appeal window. Possible noise risk. Maya saw her own name on one sheet. Maya Williams. Custodial. High observation risk. Possible legal exposure due to online coursework. Remove first. Her stomach tightened. Eleanor read the line aloud, slower than necessary. High observation risk. Anthony stepped closer. "What does that mean?" Maya answered before anyone else could soften it. "It means he knew I saw too much." Jason swallowed. "There's more." He pulled out a printed email chain. Ryan had sent it to a vendor contact, named Brent Calloway, 2 weeks earlier. "Need your crews ready by next Friday. Board approval will be a formality. Once the old group is gone, we can clean up image and liability together." Under that, Brent replied, "Happy to help. Investors like consistency. You know how it looks when frontline staff don't match the brand." Laverne Price whispered, "Lord, have mercy." Marcus's face hardened. So it wasn't just Ryan. Patricia took the email and made a note. "This vendor is now part of the investigation." Eleanor looked furious in a quiet way. "Cancel any pending agreement with them. Freeze procurement. Preserve every communication." Alan Reeves stepped out of the boardroom behind her. He had been quiet since the vote, but now his face carried the nervous look of a man counting legal exposure in his head. "Eleanor, we need to slow down before making broad accusations against external partners." Maya turned to him. "Slow down?" They had replacement crews ready before the board even voted. Alan looked uncomfortable. "I understand your anger." "No, you don't," Maya said. "If you understood it, you wouldn't keep calling evidence an accusation." The hallway went silent. Eleanor looked at Alan. "She's right. Stop managing tone and start managing damage." Alan's mouth closed. Patricia looked at Maya. "Miss Williams, this folder strengthens your position, but it also means Ryan's counsel may argue you were involved in a broader internal leak." Maya gave a short, tired laugh. "So when he keeps illegal files in his drawer, the problem is still how I found out." "No," Patricia said. "I'm telling you what they may try, not what I believe." Maya nodded once. "Then believe this. I didn't have that folder. Jason found it. Marcus witnessed him bring it. You all saw it opened. Marcus said. I'll state that. Jason nodded quickly. Me too. Maya looked at Jason. Don't say it quickly because you're scared. Say it later because it's true. He looked ashamed. It's true. Eleanor turned toward the gathered employees. Everyone, I need you to return to your stations for now. Not because this is over, but because we need to secure records, issue notices, and keep operations stable. No one is to discuss this with Ryan Whitmore, his representatives, or the vendor company. If anyone contacts you, report it immediately. Anthony folded his arms. Return to our stations, like nothing happened? No, Eleanor said. Return knowing something happened, and knowing we are documenting it. Laverne looked at Maya. You staying? Maya looked at Eleanor. Eleanor answered, yes. Miss Williams will remain with us while we complete her reinstatement paperwork and statement. Maya corrected her. Restoration paperwork. Eleanor paused. Restoration paperwork. Laverne nodded. That sounds better. The employees slowly moved back down the hall. They did not scatter like frightened people anymore. They moved like people carrying news. Maya watched Anthony limp toward the maintenance stairwell. Laverne head back toward the mailroom, and Darius whisper something to a younger custodian who covered his mouth in disbelief. By the end of the hour, the whole building would know. By dinner, families would know. By Sunday, churches would know. Ryan's clean corporate language would not survive the way working people told the truth at kitchen tables. Inside the small conference room, Patricia began taking Maya's formal statement. Marcus sat beside her as a witness. Jason waited near the wall. Eleanor stayed in the room, not speaking unless needed. Patricia turned on a recorder. State your full name. Maya Renee Williams. Age, 25. Her form position. Maya looked at Eleanor. Eleanor said, current position restored pending formal classification. Maya looked back at Patricia. Facilities, services. Patricia nodded. Start with Monday morning. Maya told it in order. Ryan's command. Jason's silence. The kicked bucket. The racist words. Marcus being ordered to sit down. The badge. The threat about security and maintenance. The water on the floor. The older woman with the cane. The service hallway. The technical room. The file. When Maya reached the part about inserting evidence into the presentation, Alan stepped into the doorway again and listened. Patricia paused. Miss Williams, I need to ask this clearly. Did anyone instruct you to alter the presentation? No. Did anyone assist you? No. Did you intend to damage company systems? No. What did you intend? Maya looked at the recorder. I intended to stop Ryan Whitmore from using a board meeting to disguise racial discrimination as cost savings. Patricia let the answer sit. Then she asked, would you do it again? Eleanor looked at Maya. Marcus looked down. Jason stopped breathing for a moment. Maya thought of her mother's voice. Speak slow. Speak plain. Yes, she said. But I shouldn't have had to. No one interrupted. Patricia continued. Why shouldn't you have had to? Maya looked at Eleanor now. Because there should have been a way for someone like me to report someone like him without losing everything first. The room changed again. That sentence found every corner. Eleanor folded her hands. There will be. Maya did not smile. There has to be. That's different. Eleanor nodded. You're right. At 4:22 p.m., the written notice went out. Every employee received it by email. Printed copies were posted in the lobby, break rooms, mailroom, maintenance office, and security desk. Marcus read his copy twice before taping it beside the visitor log. All employment actions connected to the operational modernization plan were suspended. Ryan Whitmore was suspended, pending independent investigation. Maya Williams' termination was rescinded as wrongful. No employee listed in the reviewed materials would lose pay, benefits, schedule, access, or position pending investigation. Retaliation would result in immediate disciplinary action. Maya stood at the security desk and read the notice with Marcus. He adjusted the tape on the corner. Your mother asked for writing. She did. She'll approve? Maya looked at the words, wrongful termination. She'll say it's a start. Marcus nodded. Smart woman. Maya's phone buzzed again. Denise had received the photo Maya sent. Her reply said, "A start is not the same as justice, but it is better than silence. Come home when you can." Maya read it twice. Then the front doors opened. A man in an expensive overcoat stepped into the lobby with 2 lawyers behind him. He had Ryan's eyes, older and colder. Marcus straightened. Eleanor came out of the elevator at the same time and stopped. The man looked at the posted notice, then at Maya. "I'm Charles Whitmore," he said, "and I want to know who thought they could destroy my son in his own company." Maya placed her phone in her pocket. Eleanor answered before Maya could. "Your son did." Charles Whitmore's eyes moved from Eleanor to Maya and stayed there. He did not look surprised to see a black woman standing near the security desk. He looked offended that she had not lowered her eyes. "This is a private corporate matter," Charles said. "I suggest non-essential personnel return to their assigned duties." Maya did not move. Marcus stood behind the desk, one hand resting near the visitor log. Eleanor stepped between Charles and the posted notice, without blocking his view of it. "Miss Williams is not non-essential," Eleanor said. "She is the whistleblower who exposed your son's misconduct." One of Charles's lawyers, a tall man with a leather folder, cleared his throat. "We would caution against using inflammatory language before a full investigation has concluded." Eleanor looked at him. The board heard Ryan's own voice describe black employees as a problem for investors. That is not inflammatory language. That is evidence. Charles's jaw tightened. "My son has given this company a direction it badly needed." Maya spoke before Eleanor could answer. "A direction that started with firing people because they were black." Charles turned to her fully. "Young lady, you would be wise to understand the difference between business decisions and emotional interpretations." Maya felt the old trap open in front of her. Emotional, angry, young, unqualified. All the words men used when facts came from the wrong mouth. She kept her voice even. "I understand the difference. That's why your son called it modernization in the slides and race when he thought the door was closed." The lobby went quiet. Jason had stepped out from the side corridor and heard the exchange. Anthony Brooks stood near the maintenance hall with a wrench still in his hand. Laverne Price hovered near the mailroom entrance. Word had spread again. Charles Whitmore's arrival had become the second show of the day. Charles glanced around, noticing the witnesses. "This is becoming a circus," he said. Marcus answered, calm but firm. "No, sir. The circus was Monday when your son kicked her mop bucket and called it leadership." Charles looked at Marcus as if a piece of furniture had spoken. "You are?" "Marcus Hill. Security. 18 years. Charles's eyes flicked toward his badge. "Then secure the lobby." "I am." The answer landed clean. Eleanor stepped closer to Charles. "You are not on the board anymore, Charles. You retain shares and a family name, not authority to enter this building and intimidate employees. My family built this company, and your son nearly turned that legacy into a discrimination lawsuit with a logo." The lawyer with the folder lifted a hand. "Miss Bell, perhaps this should continue upstairs." "No," Eleanor said. "Not until Mr. Whitmore understands that employees on this floor are not to be threatened, dismissed, or spoken to as if their pay grade controls their dignity." Maya looked at Eleanor then. She still did not trust her fully, but she saw the choice being made in public. That mattered. Charles lowered his voice. "Eleanor, you know how these things work." Ryan used unfortunate language. "That does not mean the entire plan was discriminatory." Maya gave a short laugh. It escaped before she could stop it. Charles looked at her. "Something amusing?" "Yes," Maya said. "How fast powerful people find softer words for hard racism." The lawyer stepped forward. "Miss Williams, I advise you to be careful." Maya looked at him. "I was careful for 7 years. That's why I have proof." That stopped him. Eleanor turned to Marcus. "Please contact Patricia Lowe and ask her to come to the lobby. Let her know Charles Whitmore and counsel are here." Marcus picked up the phone. Charles looked irritated. "This is unnecessary." "No," Eleanor said. "It's policy. I know your son disliked that word when it protected people beneath him." Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it. She did not want to look away from Charles Whitmore. He was not Ryan. but she could see where Ryan had learned the posture. Not the same cruelty exactly. Charles was smoother, older, more disciplined. He did not need to kick a bucket. He would have someone write a memo explaining why the bucket had always been in the wrong place. The elevator opened, and Patricia Lowe stepped out with Alan Reeves beside her. Patricia saw Charles and did not slow down. "Mr. Whitmore," she said. "Patricia, you should have called before coming in with outside counsel. My son was suspended. Your son is under investigation." "For what?" "Bad phrasing." Patricia opened the folder she carried. Discriminatory employment planning, retaliation, wrongful termination, witness intimidation, improper vendor coordination, and possible falsification of personnel rationale. "That is the preliminary list." Charles's lawyer shifted his weight. Charles stared at Patricia. "You're making a mistake." Patricia looked unbothered. "That possibility is why we preserve evidence." Charles turned toward Alan Reeves. "Alan, surely you understand the damage being done here." Alan looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Earlier, he had wanted to slow down. Now, standing under the posted notice with half the support staff watching, he seemed to understand that hesitation had a smell. "The damage began before today," Alan said. Charles looked betrayed. "You too." Alan cleared his throat. "The board voted." Maya watched that carefully. Not heroism. Pressure, evidence, witnesses, public shame. Sometimes that was what made powerful men find a spine. Not pretty, but useful. Charles's gaze returned to Maya. "And what exactly do you want out of this?" There it was. The accusation beneath the question. Money, attention, revenge, payday. Maya stepped away from the desk. "I want every person on Ryan's list protected in writing. I want my termination corrected as wrongful. I want the fake reasons removed from every file he touched. I want the vendor contract canceled. I want the board to admit that what happened was not a misunderstanding. And I want your son kept away from the people he tried to erase." Charles studied her. "That's a rehearsed answer." "No," Maya said. "That's what happens when working people have to learn policy because rich people keep using it as a weapon." Marcus looked down for a second, hiding the smallest smile. Patricia said, "Most of what Miss Williams named is already underway." "Then finish it," Maya said. Eleanor nodded. "We will." Charles's lawyer spoke again. "My client's family holds significant interest in this company. Any public accusation against Mr. Ryan Whitmore without completed findings could create exposure for the board." Patricia turned to him. "Counselor, the board's exposure increases if it appears to suppress evidence after being made aware of race-based employment decisions." Eleanor added, "And let's be clear, if this becomes public, it will not be because Maya Williams made Ryan say those words. It will be because Ryan said them." Charles looked around the lobby again. More workers had gathered, not close enough to be accused of interfering, but close enough to witness. He seemed to realize the old method would not work here. Not today. Not with the notice posted. Not with Patricia present. Not with Eleanor speaking in public. Not with Maya standing still. His voice cooled. "This is not over." Maya nodded. "I know." That answer seemed to irritate him more than fear would have. Charles turned to leave, then stopped near the posted notice. He read the line about Maya's wrongful termination. His mouth twisted. "She was a janitor," he said. Not loudly, but loud enough. Eleanor answered. "And Ryan was a vice president." Titles did not make him honest. Charles left with his lawyers. The front doors closed behind them. No one moved for a moment. Then Laverne Price whispered, "That man came in here looking for a queen and found a whole jury." Anthony muttered, "Amen." The tension broke just enough for people to breathe. Patricia looked at Eleanor. "We need to move faster. Ryan's family is going to try to frame this as internal sabotage." "They already are," Maya said. Everyone looked at her. My phone buzzed while Charles was talking. She pulled it out and checked the screen. Unknown number. Text. She opened it. "By tonight, everyone will know you hacked company files because you couldn't accept being fired. Enjoy being famous." Marcus's face darkened. "Ryan? Maybe. Maybe. Someone helping him." Patricia held out her hand. "May I?" Maya hesitated. Patricia said, "You keep the phone. I just need a photo of the message and metadata preserved." Maya nodded and let Patricia photograph the screen. Eleanor looked at Maya. "Your mother was right. You shouldn't leave alone." Maya looked toward the front doors where Charles had disappeared. "I'm not afraid of a ride home." "No," Eleanor said, "but they are trying to isolate you. We need to make sure they can't." Maya gave a tired smile. "Now you sound like my mother." "Then I'm improving." Marcus stepped from behind the desk. "I'll take her." Eleanor looked at him. "You're still on duty." Marcus lifted his badge. "After today, ma'am, I think the lobby can spare me for 20 minutes. Patricia said. "Actually, I'd prefer Mr. Hill accompany her with a company car and driver. It creates a record." Maya looked at Marcus. "You okay with that?" He nodded. "I'd rather be on the record than on Ryan's list." At 5:16 p.m., Maya left Whitmore and Bell through the front doors, not the service exit. Marcus walked beside her. Employees watched from the lobby, not cheering, not clapping, just standing with the quiet respect of people who understood the cost of what had happened. Outside, the company car waited. Maya paused before getting in and looked back at the building. Marcus asked, "You all right?" "No." He nodded. "Fair." She looked at him. "Monday. He made me leave through the service hallway. I remember. Today, I'm leaving through the front." Marcus opened the car door for her. "Yes, ma'am." Maya almost corrected him, then didn't. On the ride home, her phone kept buzzing. Unknown numbers. Messages from coworkers. One from Anthony, one from Laverne, one from Jason, that simply said, "I told Patricia everything. I'm sorry." Maya did not answer any of them yet. When the car reached her apartment building, Denise was waiting outside with a sweater wrapped around her shoulders, even though the evening was warm. Maya stepped out. Denise looked past her to Marcus. "You, Mr. Hill?" "Yes, ma'am." "You stood with my daughter?" Marcus lowered his head slightly. "Late, ma'am. But yes." Denise studied him, then nodded. Late is better than never, if never was the plan. Marcus accepted that like a man receiving both mercy and correction. Inside the apartment, Maya finally sat down at the kitchen table. Denise placed a glass of water in front of her. "Did they put it in writing?" Denise asked. Maya pulled out the printed notice Eleanor had given her and slid it across the table. Denise read every word. Then she read it again. Finally, she looked up. "This is a start." Maya leaned back, exhausted. "That's exactly what you said it would be." Denise folded the paper carefully. "Because justice never arrives all at once. It comes in pieces, and you make them sign for every piece." Maya closed her eyes. For the first time that day, she let herself breathe. It did not last. At 6:43 p.m., Maya's phone began buzzing again, this time without stopping. Unknown numbers, blocked numbers, a local reporter she had never heard of, 2 co-workers, then a message from Jason. "Ryan's side is leaking a story. They're saying you hacked the board presentation after being fired for poor performance." Maya stared at the screen until the words blurred. Denise, who had been heating soup on the stove, turned at the silence. "What is it?" Maya handed her the phone. Denise read the message once, then set the phone down carefully, as if sudden movement might give the lie more power. "There it is," she said. Maya rubbed both hands over her face. They didn't even wait one night. Men like that don't sleep when they're losing. They start calling people. Another text came in. This one from Marcus. "Local business blog posted something. Don't answer calls." Patricia said legal is preparing response. Maya opened the link before she could talk herself out of it. The headline was already enough. "Former janitor accused of tampering with executive board presentation after termination." The article was short, sloppy, and poisonous. It cited sources close to the company, claiming Maya had been dismissed for attitude problems, had accessed restricted systems, and had attempted to embarrass a newly promoted executive during a private meeting. It did not mention Ryan's recordings. It did not mention the removal list. It did not mention race except in one cowardly sentence. The incident has reportedly been framed by the former employee as discriminatory. Framed. Maya felt heat rise up her neck. Denise took the phone from her before she could throw it. "No." I wasn't going to. You were thinking something that starts with a bad decision. Maya stood and paced the kitchen. They're making me the criminal. They were always going to try. He said my skin color was the reason I didn't belong there. He kicked the bucket. He threatened Marcus. He had a list. And now he wants the world talking about the USB. Instead of the list. Maya stopped pacing. That was it. The trap. Shift the center. Make the method louder than the motive. Make the black woman explain her hands while the white man hides his mouth. Her phone rang. Patricia Lowe. Maya answered on speaker. I saw it. Patricia's voice was brisk, controlled. Do not respond publicly. Do not post. Do not text anyone except me, Eleanor, Marcus, or your mother about the facts. My mother is standing right here. Good. Mrs. Williams, please tell your daughter not to be brave on the internet tonight. Denise leaned toward the phone. I already did. Thank you. Maya gripped the back of a chair. Are you going to correct it? Yes. We are issuing a statement that Ryan Whitmore has been suspended, pending investigation into discriminatory conduct and retaliatory employment planning. We will not name you without your permission. They already named me as a former janitor. We can confirm your wrongful termination was rescinded. Maya looked at Denise. Denise nodded once. Do it, Maya said. Patricia continued. There's more. Ryan's attorney is threatening to file a complaint alleging unauthorized access. Let him. Maya. No, let him. If he wants a courtroom, he can explain the recordings in one. Patricia was quiet for half a second. That may happen. Maya sat down slowly. Patricia's voice softened. Just a little. I need you to understand the next stage. Today was the boardroom. Tonight is public narrative. Tomorrow becomes legal positioning. Ryan's family will try to make you look reckless, unstable, and opportunistic. They will use the word hacked because it scares people who don't understand what happened. Maya laughed once, bitterly. I cleaned that room for 7 years. Now they're acting like I parachuted in through the ceiling. That is why we document your assigned access to the technical area. They'll still say I'm not credible. They'll try. But Marcus gave a statement. Jason gave a statement. The board heard Ryan's voice. The list exists. The vendor emails exist. Ryan's folder exists. And the company has now issued written notice acknowledging wrongful termination. Denise pointed at the printed notice on the table. Maya touched the paper with 2 fingers. It felt thinner than justice should feel. What do you need from me? Maya asked. Nothing tonight except silence and safety. Tomorrow morning, I want you at the office at 10 for a protected witness meeting. We'll discuss independent counsel for you. Maya frowned. My own lawyer? Yes. The company will offer to pay for independent counsel because your interests and the company's interests may not always be the same. Denise said. That is the first smart thing I've heard from that building. Patricia replied. I agree with you. After the call ended, Maya sat in the kitchen while Denise poured soup into 2 bowls. Neither of them was hungry. But Denise believed the body deserved care even when the world did not. Maya picked up the spoon and set it down again. Maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. Denise sat across from her. Maybe. Maya looked up, startled. Denise did not soften it. You took a risk. A real one. I'm proud of you. But pride doesn't erase risk. I thought you'd say I did the right thing. I think you did a necessary thing. Sometimes necessary things come with sharp edges. Maya looked at the soup. What if those edges cut me more than him? Denise reached across the table. Then we clean the wound and keep moving. Maya's eyes burned. I'm so tired of being strong. I know. No, Mama. I mean tired in my bones. Denise's face changed. She understood that kind of tired. It was not sleep tired. It was rent tired. Hospital tired. Smile at people who insult you tired. Fight the same fight your grandmother fought tired. You don't have to be strong tonight, Denise said. Tonight, you eat. You shower. You sleep if your mind lets you. Tomorrow, you stand again. Maya whispered, and if I can't, then I stand close enough for you to lean. Maya closed her eyes. A tear slipped down her cheek, the first one since Ryan kicked the bucket. She wiped it away quickly, angry at herself for giving it space. Denise saw that. Don't you dare be ashamed of water leaving your body after the day you had. That almost made Maya laugh. Another text came in. Unknown number. Enjoy your 15 minutes. When we're done, no one will hire you to clean a gas station bathroom. Maya read it, then turned the phone face down. Denise asked, Ryan? Maybe. Save it. I will. Maya took a screenshot, forwarded it to Patricia, then powered the phone off. The apartment became quiet. Outside, a car rolled by with bass thudding faintly through the windows. Somewhere upstairs, a child ran across the floor, and someone called for him to slow down. Ordinary life kept going with rude confidence. Maya ate 3 spoonfuls of soup because her mother watched until she did. At 8:12, a knock came at the door. Both women froze. Denise stood slowly. Maya reached for her phone, remembered it was off, and turned it back on with shaking fingers. Who is it? Denise called. A man's voice answered. Marcus Hill. Ma'am. Maya opened the door. Marcus stood in the hall holding a brown paper grocery bag. What are you doing here? Maya asked. He lifted the bag. My church ladies heard enough to start cooking and not enough to mind their business. Fried chicken, greens, cornbread. Also, Mrs. Wilkes said tell you she put extra hot sauce, because justice needs seasoning. Denise came to the door. For the first time all day, her face softened fully. You brought food? Yes, ma'am. You come in then. Marcus stepped inside like a man entering a house where grief and victory had both taken off their shoes by the door. He set the bag on the counter. Also came to tell you something before you saw it online. Anthony and Laverne are organizing folks to write statements. Not just about Ryan. About years of being passed over, written up wrong, talked down to, scheduled bad. People are ready. Maya looked at him. Ready for what? Marcus met her eyes. To stop letting you stand out front by yourself. The words hit harder than the article, harder than the threats. Denise looked at Maya. See? A start. Maya nodded slowly. Maya walked toward the elevator, and this time, no one stopped her. 3 weeks later, Ryan Whitmore's name was no longer on any office door inside Whitmore and Bell Properties. The official announcement used careful language. Resignation in lieu of termination. Findings of misconduct. Violation of company policy. Failure to uphold standards of leadership. It was the kind of language corporations used when the truth had already outrun the memo. Everyone in the building knew what had happened. Ryan had tried to erase people, and in the end, the company erased his access card first. The independent investigation did not fix everything. Maya had never expected it to. It confirmed what workers had said for years. Black employees in support departments had been written up more often for vague offenses, passed over more often for promotions, scheduled worse shifts, and described in personnel notes with words that sounded harmless until someone lined them up side by side. Difficult, resistant, poor fit, not aligned, lacking polish. Maya read those words in the final report and felt no surprise, only anger with paperwork around it. Ryan's vendor contract was canceled. Brent Calloway's company was barred from bidding on Whitmore and Bell work. Personnel files touched by Ryan's team were reviewed. Some warnings were removed. Back pay was issued in several cases. Anthony Brooks got his safety reports restored. Laverne Price received the promotion review she had been denied twice. Marcus Hill kept his post and received a written apology for the false statement Ryan had tried to force him to sign. When Marcus read the apology, he stood at the security desk for a long time without saying anything. Maya found him there near the end of a Thursday shift. You all right, Mr. Hill? He looked at the letter in his hand. They put sorry in a sentence. That's something. It is. He folded the paper carefully. But it don't give back the morning. I almost signed that lie. Maya stood beside the desk. No. Marcus looked at her. I keep thinking about it. My hand was on the pen. But you didn't sign. Because you told me to be ready. Maya shook her head. Because you already knew. Marcus smiled a little. Maybe. Sometimes people need somebody younger to remind them what they used to know. A week after that, Eleanor Bell called Maya into a conference room on the second floor. Not the boardroom. Maya appreciated that. The boardroom still carried too much echo. Patricia Lowe was there. So was Marcia Coleman, the independent investigator. On the table was a formal offer letter for the new role: Facilities Compliance and Equity Coordinator. Full salary. Benefits restored. Tuition support reinstated under the old Bell Workforce Education Program. Direct reporting line to the Board Ethics Committee. Authority to receive confidential complaints from facilities, security, mailroom, and maintenance. Protection against retaliation. Quarterly reporting. Independent counsel review allowed before signature. Maya read every line. Then she read it again. Eleanor waited. Patricia waited. Marcia looked like she respected the silence. Finally, Maya said, "This says I can recommend discipline, but not require it." Eleanor nodded. "Correct. Then it needs to say the board must issue a written response if it rejects a recommendation involving discrimination or retaliation." Patricia picked up her pen. "That is reasonable." Maya looked at Eleanor. "And the reporting channel cannot run through operations." "It won't. I want that in plain language." Patricia wrote again. Maya kept reading. "Tuition support. This is for me?" "Yes," Eleanor said. "You qualified under the Bell Workforce Education Program." Ryan marked the program inactive while eligible employees were still present. "You were one of them." Maya's jaw tightened. "So he didn't just try to take my job?" "No," Eleanor said. "He also helped keep you from finishing school." The room went quiet. Maya looked down at the letter. For a moment, she saw every night she had opened an online class after a shift and fallen asleep before the lecture ended. Every tuition bill she had pushed aside to pay for medication. Every time she had told herself, "Maybe next semester." Her voice came out lower. "I want that reviewed for every employee." "It will be," Eleanor said. "Not will be. Put it in the offer addendum as part of the first 90-day review." Patricia wrote without argument. Marcia finally spoke. "You negotiate like someone who has learned promises are not real until they become obligations." Maya looked at her. "That's exactly how I learned it." She took the offer home before signing. Denise read it at the kitchen table, page by page, lips moving silently over the legal language. Maya waited with the patience of a daughter who knew her mother trusted paper only after wrestling it. At the end, Denise tapped the line about tuition support. "This part matters." "I know." "No. I mean it matters beyond money. They interrupted your future. Make them pay for the road back to it." Maya sat across from her. "I'm scared to take it." "Good. Why do you keep saying fear is good?" "I don't. I say fear is information. Don't let it drive. But don't throw it out the car." Maya smiled despite herself. Denise folded the pages. "Do you want the job?" Maya looked toward the window. Outside, someone's child was riding a bike in slow circles on the sidewalk. A neighbor waved to a passing mail carrier. Ordinary life, still daring to continue. "I want the work to exist," Maya said. "I don't know if I want to be the one doing it." Denise nodded. "That's honest. What if they use me? Then you remember how to use records." Maya laughed softly. "Mama, I'm serious. They didn't suddenly become angels because Ryan got caught. You take the role with your eyes open. You keep copies. You keep your own counsel. You help who you can. And you don't let them turn your pain into their brochure." The next morning, Maya signed. Not because she trusted the company completely. She did not. Not because justice had arrived whole. It had not. She signed because the people downstairs needed a door that did not lock from the other side. And because she had spent 7 years learning every hallway in a building that thought she was invisible. On her first official day in the new position, Maya arrived through the front entrance at 8:15 a.m. Marcus was at the security desk. He stood when he saw her. "Morning, Miss Williams." "Morning, Mr. Hill." He nodded toward her new badge. Maya looked down at it. Maya Williams, Facilities Compliance and Equity Coordinator. For a second, she remembered Ryan's hand reaching for the old badge. She remembered the bucket cracking, water flooding across the lobby, his voice saying he was king in this place. She remembered setting the caution sign down anyway because somebody could still fall. Now the lobby looked the same to anyone who did not know better. Same desk, same floor, same elevators. But to Maya, every inch of it had a record. Anthony Brooks came through the side hall carrying a toolbox. "Coordinator now," he said. You too important to talk to maintenance? Maya smiled. Maintenance is my first meeting. Good answer. Laverne Price stepped out of the mailroom with a stack of envelopes. Baby, I got 3 complaints and 1 church invitation. Which you want first? The complaints. Laverne grinned. That's how I knew they picked the right one. Eleanor came down from the elevators a minute later. She did not interrupt the workers speaking to Maya. She waited. That, too, was something learned. When Maya finally turned, Eleanor said, "Ready." Maya looked at the lobby, then at Marcus, Anthony, Laverne, and the yellow caution sign stored neatly beside the janitorial closet. "No," Maya said. "But I'm here." Eleanor nodded. "That may be enough for day 1. Maya walked with her toward the conference room where the first listening session would be held. Not a press event, not a photo opportunity. No boardroom applause, just workers, chairs, coffee, forms written in plain English, and a promise that no complaint would disappear without a tracking number and a written answer. Near the door, Maya paused. Her phone buzzed. "Denise, did you walk in through the front?" Maya typed back, "Yes." The reply came fast. "Then keep your head up like you paid for the floor." Maya smiled, slipped the phone into her pocket, and entered the room. The people inside looked up. Some were older than her. Some had worked in the building longer than she had been alive. Some still doubted the company. Some doubted her role. Maya understood that. Trust was not a memo. It was a debt paid slowly. She stood at the front, not behind a podium. "My name is Maya Williams," she said. "Most of you know me from the night crew, the basement, or the service halls. I'm not here to make the company look better. I'm here to make sure what happened to us has a record before someone tries to rename it." No one interrupted. She continued, "I can't promise every wrong gets fixed fast. I won't lie to you like that. But I can promise this. If you bring me the truth, I will not make you carry it alone." Marcus stood near the back wall, arms folded. Anthony nodded once. Laverne wiped her eye and pretended she was fixing her glasses. Maya looked around the room and felt the fear still there. But now it had company. Anger, memory, witness, paper, names. That was how justice started in places built to avoid it. Not with a miracle, with one person refusing to stay invisible. Then another. Then another. Ryan Whitmore had thought he was firing a black janitor. He thought a uniform made her small, a title made him untouchable, and a boardroom could turn racism into strategy if the slides were clean enough. But he clicked the slide. He brought his own evidence to the people he planned to fool. He mistook silence for ignorance and service for weakness. He forgot that the person cleaning the room may be the only one who knows where the dirt is hidden. Maya did not destroy him with revenge. She let the truth finish the job. And in a building where people like her had been told to use the service entrance, Maya Williams walked through the front door, kept the receipts, and made sure every worker behind her had a name no one could erase again. The lesson from Maya Williams' story is simple, but powerful. Never mistake silence for weakness, and never assume the person doing the quiet work is blind to the truth. Sometimes injustice hides behind polite words, clean offices, and official titles, but truth has a way of waiting for the right moment. And when it finally speaks, even the most powerful people in the room have to listen. Maya did not win because she shouted the loudest. She won because she paid attention, kept the evidence, protected the people behind her, and refused to let cruelty be renamed as business. Her story reminds us that dignity does not come from a job title, a badge, or a corner office. Dignity lives in what we do when no one thinks we matter. Thank you for listening to this story until the very end. Your time means a great deal, and I truly hope Maya's journey gave you something to think about. Please let us know what you thought of the storytelling. Was the pacing right? Did the characters feel real? Was there a moment that stayed with you? Your feedback helps this channel improve with every story. And if you have a powerful, true story, a lesson from life, or a moment of justice, kindness, betrayal, or courage that you believe others should hear, please share it with us. Your story might become the next one that inspires someone who needs it. This video is a work of fiction created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. All characters, events, and situations are not real, and do not represent any actual people or true stories. The content is intended for storytelling and emotional illustration only.